Yeah, so we're gonna move on to probably be a shorter episode today. The last topic of the show. We're gonna do the top 10 NFC quarterbacks after all the quarterbacks got paid, like Geno Smith, Daniel Jones, Derek Carr. We're gonna name the top 10 now. All right, I'm gonna name my top 5 first. Okay, here we go. Number 1, I got the guy who just went to the Super Bowl, MVP runner-up, Jalen Hurts. Yeah, pains me to say this, but yeah, especially since he's on the Eagles. Yeah, it pains me to say this. Especially the first 2 I have on my list. Yeah, it pains me. Jalen Hurts, number 1. Number 2, I'm going to go with Dak Prescott. I think Dak Prescott's going to have another good year. I think they're going to give him another receiver. Probably. It pains me to say this because I hate the Cowboys and I hate the Eagles, but it pains me. Number 3, I got Kyler Murray. Probably be injured for most of the season next year, but I still think Kyler Murray is more talented than mostly all these other quarterbacks. That's why he got drafted number 1 in the first place. But I think he's still better. You know something? Calvin Beachum, their starting left tackle, he was getting interviewed yesterday on the radio show, and he basically just said Kyler Murray needs to grow up and be a man. That's pretty. He's playing with them too. That's pretty. Yeah. More than likely,
you got to hold him accountable, but I don't know if going out and doing it publicly is the right way to go about it.
Yeah, more than likely, Calvin Beachum will not be on the Cardinals next year. More than likely he'll be gone. Yeah. All right, number 4, I got the Lions quarterback, Jared Goff. Jared Goff had a really good season last year, and I think he's going to improve this year. They have the same offense. They started off slow last year, too, and he still had one of his best years. Yeah. I think the Rams got their Super Bowl, so it was really, I guess it really doesn't make a difference now, but Jared Goff looks like he's going to be the better long-term quarterback over Stafford. And number 5, I was talking bad about Matthew Stafford the other day, but I came to my senses a little bit. I had to give him some respect. I can't just go off recency bias. I have to give him some respect because I don't want to just say he's completely washed right now. Because I was looking at some of his numbers, his completion percentage was still there. It was almost 70% completion percentage. Mm-hmm. He just needs to cut off on the turnovers though, because he threw 8 interceptions before he got injured. That was pretty bad.
Yeah, for sure.
But I think the Rams. I don't know if the Rams have a bounce back year, but I think Stafford has a bounce back year. After this year, he got injured. Yeah. See, because Stafford had the team doesn't have to be good for him to have a bounce back year because he was with the Lions for all those years and the Lions sucked when he was good. So the Rams don't need to have a bounce back year. But Stafford, I have to give Stafford some respect because, he was injured most of last year. Cause I'm pretty sure he injured his shoulder at the beginning of the year before the season even started. So I'm going to give him some respect going into healthy next year. Healthy next year. Hopefully they fix their weapons because Allen Robinson was ass. So it was really just Cooper Kupp. They're going to get Cooper Kupp back at least. Hopefully they do something in the offseason to improve the weapons. But this is more of a projection. So I'm projecting that the Rams do something better on offense next year after what happened this year. So I'm going to have number 5 Stafford.
Okay. I'm gonna debate that, but first I'm gonna have to go into my list because you probably got some things that you want to debate me about. So I'm gonna go. Okay, number 1. It's pretty obvious. We both got the same number 1 here. Jalen Hurts is the best QB in the NFC. He's developed every single year he's been in the league. Rookie year to sophomore year to now he's in the Super Bowl. Should have been the MVP, but I'd say Jalen Hurts easily the number 1 right now. The NFC isn't as stacked as the AFC is, so Jalen Hurts, he should be the clear number 1 right now. I guess we both agree on that one. Number 2, though, is where it gets very, very, very controversial. All right, this is a projection for next season. I'm not going off of what happened this year, but I think next year this guy is going to take a huge leap, and he's going to be the number 2 QB in the NFC. He finished off the year very, very strong. He's one of the top fantasy quarterbacks of last season, and I think this year he's only going to get even better. His team was very, very terrible last season, but I feel like they're going to improve. They got a lot of assets to work with, and after a few trades, they're going to have even more assets. Number 2, I got my guy, Justin Fields from Chicago. I think he takes the next step. He becomes one of the top QBs in the NFC. You already saw the progress he made from his rookie year to this year. And I feel like now he's only going to take it to a new level. Justin Fields, he's going to be one of the best QBs in the NFC. I'd tell you, he finished off the year. You saw all those crazy runs. He would have 70-yard runs, 60-yard runs for a touchdown. He was making some crazy athletic plays. The Bears have the number 1 pick this year in the draft. They're going to trade it back more than likely. They could pick up some more assets. They'll probably pick up some more assets. I'd tell you, they could trade back as many times if they want. Like, if I'm being honest, bro. And they could pick up some weapons for Justin Fields. I feel like you give Justin Fields some weapons, you give him some protection, and then let him do his thing. He's going to be one of the top QBs in the NFC this year. Mark my words on that. Number 3. A bunch of people like to hate on this man. Think he's very, very mid. But I think he's actually a pretty solid player. Number 3, I'm going with Kirk Cousins in Minnesota. Kirk Cousins, I tell you, he's going to have a solid year next year. I feel like it's going to be very similar to this year. I don't really see him improving like a crazy amount, but he still got Justin Jefferson. He's still got Dalvin Cook on that team. He's going to have Kevin O'Connell. He's been feeling a lot more comfortable in that system. And Kirk Cousins, not primetime Kirk, obviously, but when it's 1 o'clock Kirk, he could be very, very dangerous. Minnesota's going to have a top offense again. I believe Kirk Cousins is going to be – he's a number 3 QB in the NFC. But all these guys right here in this little tier, like the next 3, 4, 5 guys, I mean, they're all pretty much in the same tier, if I'm guessing. They're all in like that Kirk Cousins tier, if you know what I'm talking about. Number 4, I got Dak Prescott. A little bit lower than you have him. But Dak Prescott, I don't know, man. He makes too many mistakes. He makes too many mistakes when you need him the most. He could light it up sometimes, but Mike McCarthy's going to take over as play caller. I feel like he wants to run more of a run-heavy, more of a balanced type of offense than what Kellen Moore was giving him. Mike McCarthy said himself that, you know, he wants to grind down the clock, not like Kellen Moore, who would rather run up the scoreboard. And I feel like it's really going to benefit Dak personally, but it's not going to, I'd say he's going to be more in like more of a game manager role than like a superstar QB role, which I'd say if it's a perfectly, he just can't be making all the mistakes that he always does when you need him the most. Like, you saw it against San Francisco. He made 2 horrendous picks that pretty much cost him the game. The defense was holding San Francisco, so Dak didn't have to do too much to win that game. But he couldn't get it done. I get it, San Francisco's one of the top defenses, but, I mean, you need Dak to perform in those situations. And also, you saw it against Jacksonville at the end of the year. I mean, pick 6 when you need Dak to show up. So, I'd say Dak, he's still a very solid quarterback, but the reason why I got Kirk over him is because I'd say Dak just makes mistakes when you need him. When you need him to show up. At number 5, I got the newly acquired QB down in New Orleans, Derek Carr. I'd say Kirk, and Dak are all pretty much in that same tier where they perform on most occasions, but when you need them the most, they disappear pretty much. But I feel like Derek Carr is he's gonna do pretty good things in New Orleans. I got Dak over him still because I like the team around Dak better. I mean, he still got CeeDee Lamb on that team, so Dak's gonna be better next season than Derek Carr is, but Derek Carr is still a pretty solid QB for New Orleans. I think he's going to do pretty solid in that division. I'm not saying he's going to be like an elite QB or anything, but definitely a good pickup for the Saints. What are you looking at?
I was looking at something, but Yeah, I didn't realize you could hear it, so that's why.
Oh, okay.
Oh, no, it's nothing important. All right, the only guy I have to say something about. I don't know. I like your. I like your. I know you're projecting Justin Fields to be good, but I don't know how. I don't think Justin Fields can like. I really don't see any moves the Bears can make to get a true elite wide receiver or any elite weapon because none of the guys on the free agency market are that good. Like Jacoby Myers is the best receiver, and DeAndre Hopkins. I don't think he's going to get traded to Chicago. I think if he gets traded, it's going to be like a Dallas, a Kansas City, or even a New York. I don't really think he's going to get traded there. Like all these other guys that make huge leaps, they get like a true elite one wide receiver one, like a true elite wide receiver one. Mm-hmm. You have to be like on that Mahomes or Burrow level for you to have like Burrow. I haven't even seen Burrow actually play, so I'm gonna say Mahomes level right now because Mahomes won the Super Bowl with Juju Smith-Schuster. Like if Juju went to the Bears last year, I don't really think it would have made that big of a difference to me.
Yeah.
So I think that's the only problem. I think Fields is gonna do better next year, for sure. But I don't know about number two. That's the only thing I have to say because like what's it called? Tua took a big leap when he got Tyreek Hill. I don't think there's gonna be a Tyreek Hill for the Bears to get for Justin Fields like that. Or like when Josh Allen got Stephon Diggs, I don't think there's a lead receiver like that, or even a running back. Because Saquon and Josh Jacobs are probably the only elite running back weapons that you could actually get. Like Saquon was probably the only elite weapon where you could throw it to him too. Like if you got Josh Jacobs is a runner. He's not gonna be a pass catcher. Like Saquon was probably the most elite weapon you're gonna be able to get in free agency, and the Giants tagged him. So like if they got something like that, I think I could really see Justin Fields making that big of a leap. I think he's gonna make a leap. Like I think he's gonna be do pretty good next year, but I don't know how big of a leap he's truly going to have, to me.
Okay, I get what you're talking about.
Yeah.
For me, I feel like it was probably going to be through the draft. Like you said, there's not really too many free agent wide receivers that are on the board right now. I just think that they acquire a receiver during the draft, at least one of the top 2 rounds. They're probably going to get some extra picks for that number 1 pick. There's some talented receivers in this draft. I'd tell you, they got his former teammate Jackson Smith and Njigba there. So that could help him out a bit. I mean, these receivers coming out of college now, they're lighting it up from day one. I mean, you saw what Jamar Chase did his rookie year. You've seen what Justin Jefferson did his rookie year. I don't really think there's a receiver like that. But, I mean, it's possible to get a number 1 through the draft and have him perform immediately.
Yeah, I don't really like it. The problem is I don't really like this receiver. A lot of people really don't like. I'm not the only one. A lot of people. This receiving class is not like the other years. Like last year, I would be fine with you because like Garrett Wilson. Oh yeah. If Justin Fields had Garrett Wilson, oh yeah, that would be insane. If he had Chris Olave, that would be insane. But Quentin Johnson's like a 50-50 ball type of guy. He's basically just Chase Claypool too. He's Chase Claypool and I don't know how far that's going to get him in the NFL because he's not that good. He's not a good runner at all. That's not his game. And Jordan Addison is a slot receiver, and he's a slow slot receiver. Jackson Smith and Jigba, I think he has the tools, but I think they're going to be like more in the second round or third round with like a guy like Jalen Hyde or something like that. And I don't really think those guys are going to, unless you get really lucky, they turn into number 1 receiver. I really don't see any of those guys being number 1 receivers. I see them being like a wide receiver 2, or I can see them being like Amon-Ra St. Brown. Amon-Ra St. Brown's a pretty solid receiver. He's not. I don't think he's not on that level with those guys, but he's there. He's close. I can see him getting a guy like that. But there's a lot. Yeah, that's the only problem I had. Yeah, but I think Justin Fields is going to get better. Yeah. Number 2 better? I don't know about that, but